In this video, we factor in trinomials. So here's an example to start with. And notice how x squared has a coefficient of 1, so we can just multiply 1 and 12, and we get 12. So now we got to find a number that multiplies to 12 and adds to 7. So 6 and 2, but that unfortunately multiplies to 12 and adds to 8 instead of 7. We could try 3 and 4, that multiplies to 12 and adds to 7. So this is correct. So we can use 3 and 4 to factor this. And to do so, we can write x plus 3, x plus 4 in brackets as so. Now this expression has been factored into two binomials. Now we can use the FOIL method to just check if our answer is right. X times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. X times 3 is 3x. And 3 times 4 is 12. So now we go back to the original expression, which is x squared plus 7x plus 12. That means we've answered it right. Moving on, we can write another question. X squared minus 5x plus 6. So now we have to find a number that this has a coefficient of 1, 2. So now we have to find a number that multiplies to 6 and adds to negative 5. So two numbers that would multiply to 6 would be 6 and 1. And 6 and 1 would add to 7 but multiply to 6. However, 6 and negative 1 would multiply to 6 and add to negative 7. So both variations of 6 and 1 are wrong. We could try a new option. We can do 3 and 2. And 3 and 2 would add to 5. We need negative 5. So we can do negative 3 and negative 2. This adds to negative 5 and multiplies to 6. So this corrects. So this option is correct. Now we just gotta write it down. X minus 3 and x minus 2. And if you wish, you could use FOIL method to see if our answer is right, but through our technique, we know it's correct. Moving on, x squared plus 2x minus 15. So again, we have a coefficient of 1, so we can just simply see what number multiplies to negative 15 and adds to 2. Now let's just list options here. 3 and 5. That adds to 8 and multiplies to 15, so that's not correct. 5 and negative 3. That multiplies to negative 15 and adds to 2. So this is correct. So now we just have to write it down. X plus 5, x minus 3. And this is been fully factored now. Moving on. X squared minus 9x plus 20. Now again, we have a coefficient of 1. This is going to be our last one before we move into coefficients of other than 1. What number multiplies to 20 and adds to minus 9? You can try solving this yourself, but I'll be solving it here too. You can confirm your answer with my answer to see if it's correct. So 10 and 2 multiplies to 20, but it adds to 12. That's not right. 5 and 4 seems to be right. It multiplies to 20 and adds to 9. Now we just have to get the negative in the right place. So now we have negative 5 and negative 4. So x minus 5, x minus 4. And now this has been factored too. It's as simple as that. Now moving on to some harder questions. We have 2x squared plus 5x. Alright, let's make this 5 a little bit better. 5x plus 2. Now here we multiply the 2 with the 2 like we have been doing in the past. That gives us 4. So now what number multiplies to 4 but adds to 5? Well, 4 times 1 is 4 and 4 plus 1 is 5. So we know 4 is that. And instead of writing it down in brackets, we write it like this. So this is a step before that. We factor by grouping. So 2x squared plus 4x plus x plus 2. And then we factor 2x out. And we use factor by grouping. Then we factor 1 out. Now all we have to do is factor x plus 2 out as a common factor. And we get x plus 2, 2x plus 1. Now if you don't understand this, all we really did was we factored one number out, made two of the expressions the same, x plus 2, and we factored that out and made 2x plus 1. If you don't understand, it's fine. There's more examples, and you'll understand as we go. Now 3x squared minus 8x plus 4. So now 3 times 4 is 12, so a number that multiplies to 12 and adds to negative 8. Now you can pause this and take a second to solve it. We're always solving here in the background. Let's list some possible answers. Negative 6 times negative 2 is 12, but it adds to negative 8, and that's correct. That's what we need. So now we do the same thing, 3x squared minus 6x. So what we did here was minus 6x minus 2x is minus 8x. So we didn't change anything. It adds up to the same expression. We just made it into two different numbers, so it's easier to factor. Now factor out 3x, we get x minus 2 on one side. Now factor out 2, we get x minus 2 again. Now factor x minus 2, and we get 3x minus 2. If you multiply the x minus 2 with the 3x, and the x minus 2 with the 2, you get the expression above this. Hopefully now this makes a little bit more sense. Now moving on to some more examples. Now we find the number that multiplies to 18 6 times 3 and adds to 11. Well, 6 and 3 will multiplies to 18 but adds to 9, unfortunately. 9 and 2 can work because it adds to 18. Sorry, it multiplies to 18 but adds to 11. So 9 and 2 can be factored here. Now we do the same thing, replace 11x with 9x plus 2x. So you get 6x squared plus 2x plus 9x plus 2. Now we simply factor 2x, we get 3x plus 1. And here we factor out 3, so plus 3, we get 3x plus 1. This is called factor by grouping. Now we factor out 3x plus 1 as a common factor, and we get 2x plus 3 as our other binomial. That's it. Now another example. Here we have 5x squared minus x minus 6. So what number multiplies to negative 30 and adds to negative 1? So now 6 and 5 multiplies to 30, but it adds to 11. So now if we play around with the negatives with 6 and 5, we can make it add to negative 30 or multiply to negative 30 and add to negative 1. So now negative 6 times 5 would be negative 30, and negative 6 plus 5 would be negative 1. That's perfect. So now all we have to do is do 5x squared plus 5x minus 6x minus 6. Now factor out like we've been doing. 5x, that gives us x plus 1. Factor out negative 6, that gives us x plus 1. And you notice a pattern. And it's just as simple as that. Now we factor it out, and we get 5x minus 6 and x plus 1. So this is the answer to this. And I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. This is Factoring Trinomials.